My goodness, welcome back, fellow bad strategists. We are here again in Shadow Empire, and I've been looking around, looking at our setup. I think we're in too good a spot. I think we're too well off. We aren't really threatened by anything. We got no enemies nearby. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe we restart. Maybe I enable so there are multiple major factions and I can show you how to fight a major regime from the start. It's actually not much different from fighting minor regimes. They're not actually all that tough. And I've learned a lot about the game, and I would like to show you some tricks. So, yeah, I'd like to explain some of the math and show you some tricks, and we will, instead of doing a tank rush, we'll do an assault gun rush, which is better. Much better. Assault guns are basically half-price medium tanks, which means that they're medium tanks that cost less than light tanks, because a battalion of assault tanks will cost 220 IP if it's armored with a big gun, and it will cost 200, or it'll cost 120 if it's unarmored with a big gun. And you can do either, but you really want to do the armored approach, because armor has a significant impact. I'll explain how the actual combat modifiers work, because I have a better comprehension of them now, and I won't do this. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you see how we have a bunch of colonists. And the reason we have a bunch of colonists is because we might reach a point where the governor cannot recruit workers fast enough to fill the jobs we're creating, right? Yeah, but 23,000 is too many colonists. And we have 12,000 recruits. That's too many recruits. So, something interesting, your industrial production comes from partially your service tax. We have a service tax of 65. And that's 65 for 72,000 people. So we're 7,000 down. We're about 10% down, a little more than 10% down from our population in the thousands to our production output from service tax. So the service tax is something like 1 IP per 1,100 population, which means these 35,000 people would be producing about 30 IP, which would be about a 25% increase to our production. Yep. Oh, we slipped there. We slipped up there. That's non-ideal. Non-ideal. I still do recommend you begin first turn, you drop the recruitment sign-up bonus. You leave worker salary the same. You could drop it, maybe. Maybe you drop it, but probably you leave it the same. You do 1 point in public budget. And depending on your situation, you raise or lower your recruitment on turn 1. So 500 recruits is actually a comfortable number because it's enough for you to defend yourself and to produce an operational infantry HQ if you need to. But it's not enough to mount a heavy defense if you're swamped on all sides. And if your danger level starts rising in your capital, you need to recruit more because as your happiness and loyalty drop, you won't be able to recruit people anymore, so you want to get them while you can. So if you're in a bad spot, you raise it, but 500 is pretty comfortable. If you're in a very safe spot, drop it down to 100 or 200, I would say. You still want some recruits just in case. Honestly, you probably don't need colonists to start with, and if you're, depending on how good your start is, you can probably recruit workers fine, as the governor can probably recruit workers fine. It's mostly later on when you're having big projects and you need a lot of workers, your governors can't keep up. Okay, a few other things. We don't have... okay, we have a syndicate. Now syndicates allow you to trade enforcement for... what is it? I think it's just enforcement. I think enforcement goes up or down depending on how you interact with him. So the syndicate's not very useful to us because it basically just allows us to raise up or lower down our enforcement, and our enforcement is only valued at half of its value because we're going for government. The corporation's really good for us though, because the corporation allows us to influence commerce. And I think it also influences government. So the corporation trades commerce for government very, very efficiently. So you can gain like 20 points of government and lose 20 points of commerce from interacting with the corporation. Very, very strong. I've reevaluated how much I value the different fate point cards. Docile AI is still up there. Militia Philosophy of Faith still up there. But I'm now appreciating more and more the Fat Merchant card, which produces a casino asset, which raises quality of life, but it also injects something like 1,000 credits into the economy. So their private economy usually starts by building light industry. In our case, it looks like that they did, and now they want to upgrade it. But to get your light industry early on, the private economy needs some money. So if you play a Fat Merchant turn 1, you get your light economy much sooner than you would if you didn't play a Fat Merchant. And what's a really good synergy, you play a Fat Merchant and then you play an Eager Industrialist, which we don't have, but the Eager Industrialist bounces the light industry up from 1 to 2. And if you look, 50 IP, it's 20 to 50 IP, meaning you gain 30 IP from the Eager Industrialist if you wait to play them until after you have light industry. And if you wait until you have an Industry 3, which you're probably not going to do early on, you really have to hope for a second Eager Industrialist. It's 50 to 115, so it's a significant jump from one step to the next. So probably the best opening hand is something like Bad Rations, Fat Merchant, Eager Industrialist, and Docile AI. I think that's probably the strongest one. You could also take Paranoia, but Paranoia is a little awkward to play on round 1 because I realized something Fear does. Fear counts against your happiness cap. So if you have 20 Fear, your happiness cap is reduced by 20. And you start with high happiness. So if you play a Paranoia card right off the bat, then boom, you dropped your happiness. A whole like, I don't know what your happiness starts at, but you probably dropped it at least 10 points. So that's a little bit not preferable. This Paranoia card is still one of the best though, because it counteracts Unrest, so you have good synergy. You can play Paranoia and then play whatever the Unrest boosting card is. Do we have it? We don't have it. Radiation Leaks Danger. It's Chemical High? Yeah, Chemical High. I don't really want to continue this game just because I realize, look at this. There's no threat around us. There are evil spiders in the mountains, which our tanks can't get into, but like we're safe here. We're solid. I wanted to show you how to get your industry up and running, and looking at it, it's like we have a light industry. We're gonna get. I thought you said you were gonna build an industry. Oh, they're building an industry. Okay, we have light industry, and we're gonna get another light industry, and we're just gonna sit here and build up our economy for a few turns, basically. I'll walk you through what we would do. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, something else. We probably shouldn't have made this a regular zone. You still get service tax if it's not a regular zone, but making it a regular zone gets us this 38 from the Dome Farm, which is pretty good. That said, it causes the happiness to count towards our proper empire statistics, which drags them down and makes rebellion and revolt and all those worrisome things more probable. If you keep this unincorporated, you still get service tax. You don't get that money, which is a lot of money to be fair, but your happiness also raises faster. You get like, I think it raises faster. I think you get some percentage increase to happiness boost, which can be useful. So you keep it unincorporated for a few turns. Happiness climbs, you incorporate it. You'll get fewer unrest events, which will make it harder to boost up your meritocracy, but you'll also have fewer rebellions, and you'll get your economy stabilized sooner, because, let's be honest, rebellions are kind of a buzzkill when you're trying to stabilize your economy. And let's talk about assault guns. Let's talk about the actual combat statistics, because this list, this like spreadsheet, it's a little confusing, and I think I have a better grasp of it. Okay, so your basic design basically doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because its cap is always the same. It starts at 120 at the cap, and the percentage of field testing is how close you are, is what percentage of the difference between your current design and your cap you will achieve with your next iteration. Every iteration raises the cap by 10, so your second design will have a cap of 130. So basically, if you designed like 10 variants of this, and then you field tested the last one 100%, and then you deployed a new design, you would be at your cap of basic design. So you can't really fall behind on basic design that badly, so it's not something you should worry about. Structural design. I'm pretty sure I understand what structural design does. I think it's a multiplier, it's a modifier to your other roles. I think basic design is as well. So effectively, it's not that structural design or basic design actually give you more stats. It's that when you roll the stats, you modify them by these two values. So the higher these are, the higher you're likely to roll on your others. And I think you roll hit points too. Hit points is increased by your armor, but I think you actually make a hit point roll that's independent of your armor. Okay. Important final thing. How do you defend? This is important. Why is our medium tank actually any good at surviving? So, okay, we have 150mm plating, which means the enemy's penetration value, which is 20mm for infantry, is divided by our armor. And so the enemy has something like a 1 in 7 chance of their shots getting through. Well, not precise. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's basically that. It's actually that their attack value is divided by 7, rather. But it's effectively 1 in 7 shots actually get through because of our armor. But when they get through, they're compared to our hard defense, which is this 208. It's this second value here. Because we are a hard target, and they're using hard attack against our hard defense. And this is very peculiar, because actually I think you raise your hard defense by using hard weapons. So if we had a railgun on this, I think that it would actually be more difficult to bring down, because its hard defense would be higher. So you actually want hard attack weapons on hard units and soft attack weapons on soft units, because it boosts their defense proportionally. I think that's how it works. Which explains why machine guns are so effective, right? You'd think machine guns would be weak because they have half as many subunits in a battalion of machine guns as you get in an infantry battalion. But actually, they have much higher soft defense, so they have higher firepower, which gives them higher soft defense, which allows them to suppress enemy attacks. So our tanks are sort of a hybrid tanking unit of armor with hard defense we reduce the number of attacks they get through, and then we give them a high target to roll against, which is why these things don't go down. Alright, well, that's the time I have. My next video will be a new start, and we'll see if I can show you an assault gun rush, which should be more effective than this. Have a nice day, everyone.